we will form now the equation or formula for the last term or nth term of our sequence. So this is our general formula for finding the last term. A sub n is the nth term, the term that you want to solve. For example, you want to solve for the 90th term, so it becomes a to the 90. This one is the last term. This one is the first term. When we say first term, it does not mean that that one is n is equal to 1. It could be the 25th term is your first term. And then the number of terms is 1 and d. Now, why not instead of using the a sub n, we just change a sub n to L. And then a only without any subscript. A is the first letter of the alphabet, so it's the first term. And then the same n minus 1 times the difference. Because in this form class, it's written A and D. It's ln. Ln. So it is ln. You can use this one or you can use that one. So if it is easy for you to use that one because you are using that one in your class, then you use that one. You stick with that formula or equation. Okay? So this is only a tip for you. If you want to remember the formula for the last term, you may use the ln. When you are given the formula, you always write the given. Now, for example, there, we are going to put an. What is the last term? What is the first term? What is the n, the number of terms? And what is the difference? You can see here how many variables we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you put the given here. If you have the first term, and you know the n, you're finding the 30th term, so n is equal to 30. If this one is the first term, n is equal to 1. And you have the difference, then you can solve for this one because you have only one unknown. If you have this one, you have this one, you have this one, and a sub 1 is the only unknown here, you can solve for a sub 1. If you have only one formula, there should be only one unknown. That's the rule. For example, we don't have this one. Okay, we are given to solve for the last term, unknown. And we know the first term, okay. And we know the number of terms, okay. But we don't have this one. Can we not apply that formula? We can apply that one. All you need to do is complete so that our formula will have only one unknown. And how will you do that one? First, find the d. So you need to solve first for the d. After finding the d, then put it here, then you have only one unknown. So let's have that one. We have our sequence here class. We have 8, 14, 20, and 26. The first thing that you will do is to find the difference. Because in arithmetic sequence, we are adding a certain number to our sequence. When I say adding, it does not mean that we are adding positive number. Sometimes we are adding a negative number. Okay. So when we are adding, the opposite of addition is subtraction. So here, to find that number that we are going to add, we need to subtract here, the sequence, the numbers here. And that is called the difference. So the difference class here is this one. we can find the difference here. So I'm going to put here the D for difference. You can subtract this and this, this and this, and also the 26 and the 20. But when we are subtracting the numbers here, make sure that this one is subtracted from the 14. It's 14 minus 8, not 8 minus 14. You have 20 minus 14, but not 14 minus 20. It's 26 minus 20, but not 20 minus 16. It is always this minus the previous. This minus the previous number. Okay? Because you will be confused if the number is decreasing. Example, this one is 12, and then suddenly this becomes 8. And then 12 minus 8, wrong. It should be 8 minus 12. In this case, the difference is negative 4. Okay, let's do this one class. 14 minus 8 is 6. If you subtract 14 from 20, here, 20 minus 14 is also 6. If you are going to subtract 26 from 20, 26 minus 20 is also 6. Now you see that the difference is constant. It does not change. If this one is not 6, 7, 8, that would be a different sequence. It is called quadratic sequence. In our example here, the simple one is the linear arithmetic sequence, in which the D, they are all equal or constant. So we have the D now. So the D is equal to 6. Now, I will show you how to use this one and the other one, the end term. So yes, you just choose whichever of the two methods is better for you. So let's have this one. So A to the N. A sub N. You're putting N because you want to find any term. Don't have any number here yet. And equals. And what is A sub 1? That is the first term. And what is the first term here? That 8. This is the first term. The second, the third, and the fourth, the fifth, sixth, seventh, and the nth term. So we have 8 here. And then you see the plus, you copy the plus here. And what is your n? Because we are finding any nth term, so we cannot put a number for n. If it is stated that we have to find the 26th term, then we can put 26 here. But we are finding the general formula or equation for the last term. That's why we are going to put n instead of a number, minus 1 here. And what is the difference here? The difference is, we have already the difference here is 6. D is equal to 6. So we're going to put the 6 here. Okay. Then we need some knowledge of equation. And this equation is equation involving parentheses. It's distributive property of multiplication here. So we have A to the N here. We have the 8 here. And plus, let's have the distributive property. If you are confused, you can put the 6 here. 6 here instead of that 6 there. So we multiply 6 times n. There's no problem because this one is plus. Okay, 6 times n is 6n. Okay, after this one, don't forget the second one is negative 1. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Then, what's this? We combine like terms and we arrange it. So, our formula for the last term a sub n is positive 6n. So, we put here positive 6n. What about positive 8 and negative 6? We add, if we add them, and then plus 2 here. Then this is our formula or equation for finding the nth term or the last term. Okay. Now class, I am going to show you the Cambridge way of finding the nth term here. To find the nth term, we find the difference first. So what is the difference here? It is 6. So we put the 6 here and then we multiply it by the n. Now, when n is equal to 1, so that is 6 times 1 is 6. So I'm just going to come with the n here and I'm going to add or subtract something so that I can get the 8 there. So are we going to add or subtract a number from 6 here so that I can get the 8 there? I cannot subtract because if I'm going to subtract a number from 6, the value will be less than 6, maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that one is 8. So it means I'm going to add a number plus. What number am I going to add here so that my 6 here will become 8? So, mental math, it's 2. So this one is our formula by using Cambridge, which is easier and faster for you to do. This one, using distributive property, or this one, your choice. We have a sequence 8, 3, negative 2, and negative 7. When you see a sequence, always find first the d, because you can find the d there, it's there. So how do you find the d? The difference is 3 minus 8, negative 2 minus 3, or negative 7 minus negative 2. So I'm going to show you how to find the d, or difference here. So let's have first this one. You see, don't subtract 3 from 8 here. It's not 8 minus 3. It is always this minus this. This minus this. Okay? Don't forget that. So let's find the difference, because we will use the difference always. So we have here, I'm going to put 3 minus 8. And what is 3 minus 8? It's negative 5. So I'm going to write here negative 5 for the d. What about this one? How will you write that one? It's negative 7 and it is minus. But this one is negative 2, so we close that one in parentheses. So we have negative 2. This one and this one. When we open that one, it will be negative 7. Negative times negative is what? Like signs in multiplication is positive. So we have plus, and then this one is 2. Sign numbers, like signs, subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. Sign negative, because 7 is greater than 2. So, we still have the same answer, negative 5. So we are going to use negative 5 here. We are going to find the formula or equation for the last term. Okay, so we cannot use that one. We can use that one, but the solution is long. We will use the Cambridge now. AN, that one, enter Cambridge. So for the Cambridge, let's have the nth term or AN. Let's put AN. AN is the same as the nth term. We find the difference. Negative 5. Okay, negative 5. Afterwards, we have the n. And then, we don't know if we are going to add or subtract something from negative 5n. Then let's have the equation for that, to find something to add or to subtract here. So, I'm going to write the negative 5 here. I'm going to set n is equal to 1. This one is the first term. So, negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. And then, I'm going to put here that we are going to add something we don't know. We have to compute, because if you know a number that you can add here so you can get the 8, fine, do that. But we are assuming that it's hard. So we have negative 5 here plus a number here is equal to what? This 2 when you add should be equal to the first term, because this one's first term, 8. So I'm going to put the 8 here. Okay? Now unknown, which you can replace it by x is equal to 8 transpose. What happened to the sign when you transpose that one? It will become positive. Why positive? Because we are going to add 5 here. We are going to add 5 on the other side. So this one will become positive 5 here. And your unknown, which you are going to add here, is equal to 8 plus 5 is 13. So what number are we going to add? Positive 13. Therefore, I'm going to add that 13 here. And this is our equation for the last term here. Okay. Now, this one, you can put an x there because x is the symbol for unknown. This one is our x. This one is our x if you want. And that one is that number there. If this is negative, then this one is minus. Okay. Now, let us check if this one is really the formula equation for that sequence. Now, let's check the second one here. If this one will be 3. So let's check the second one. A to the second, because we are fighting for the second, is equal to negative 5 times what is our n? It's 2. It's 2 plus 15. So this one is negative 5 times 2 is negative 10 plus 15. And what is negative 10 plus 13? It's 3. So, the second term is 3. Is that 3? Yes. So, our equation is correct.